Well, Malaysia has deported 3 Turkish nationals wanted by Ankara for alleged links to a US-based cleric accused of being behind a failed coup against the government of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Malaysia's National Police Chief Khalid Abu Bakar tweeted that the men were deported back to Ankara on Thursday night, despite concerns from rights groups who fear Malaysia is bowing to pressure from Turkey. We have a journalist, Fidelis Mbah, joining me now to give us his reactions to this issue. Tell us the implication of the diplomatic relations implications of this matter.
Well, the thing is that Ankara, that's talking about Turkey, has been putting pressure not just on Malaysia but on many countries to actually assist them, because what they are calling for is assistance to be able to carry out investigations into those who are linked to Fethullah Gulen, which is they've already branded them as a terrorist group, and they're accusing them of being behind the July 15 coup of last year, when they tried to topple President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. So they are calling for all countries to give up members of the Fethullah group, because they're actually very influential members. We're not just talking about a ragtag group. We're talking about the elite, really very rich people, industrialists, billionaires, who are members of this group. And most of them have companies across the world. They run the best schools, they run the best hospitals, companies. And they also employ a lot of people. So what they've been doing is, the Turkish government has been saying, hand over some of the people we suspect have been funding this group.
And what assurances are they giving of a proper investigation and not just a case of victimization or vendetta? Well,
the president has come out to say that, right now it's a case of a serious crackdown on everybody who's a suspect. They are not, though there have been complaints here and there about people not being properly treated in detention. But again, if you look at the circumstance under which some of them were arrested and detained, you can't really rule this out, because these were people who were alleged to be behind a coup which claims the lives of so many people. They destroy things, So under that guise, if they get arrested by security people, the same people that they actually targeted, I don't think they'll be so nice to them. It can happen in any other country. So when it comes to security issues like this, sometimes you can't rule out either of a zealousness on the part of either those who are holding them or even their superiors. So it might not be directly from the president saying, torture these guys. But again, they want to extract information.
Okay, so that cannot be ruled out.
No, you can't rule out the fact that some of them would have been tortured. It's not impossible.
Okay, you're based in Turkey for now. Tell us the situation there. Is a coup, is Turkey behind the coup already?
Well, the thing is, right now, the country has, funny enough, just a few days after the coup, the country moved on. If you come into Turkey, it's like nothing happened. Right now, there's an emergency rule in place, which has been extended month after month. But if you come into the country, everything works. The only thing is now that, there's the more security measures in terms of some places you see they just get even without a proper warrant, going through due process to get people arrested. They just clamp down on people because they're still under emergency rule. But apart from that, the everyday person, the normal hustle and bustle, because Istanbul, which is the commercial capital, is a very big city, bigger than even Lagos in terms of size. So businesses are going on, everything is working, but it's just that politically things are a bit unstable, because there are people who still feel the president.
Indeed, that brings me to this now. Is President Erdogan doing anything at all to create a more inclusive government?
Well, the recent referendum was actually meant to more show up his support base, and he got what he wanted. Even though it was a very slim victory, there's still divisions, because most of those who were arrested, they have people who are family members. Many people lost their jobs as a result of the crackdown on people who were linked to the coup. So definitely those people will not be happy with government. He's not 100% people in support of him. Right now with the referendum, we can even say he has just 51% of people in support of him. So it's still, that political differences is still there. But again,
so what does he need to do?
One thing that has worked for him is the fact that the opposition have almost tried to close ranks with his government in terms of ensuring that the investigation into those who are behind the coup is actually carried out successfully, and then also that people who are linked to the coup are turned up. for arrest or prosecution.
But the issue now is how much will investigations and prosecutions do to quell a further attempted coup, a further protest and all of that? Is it not better he does something more to bring in these people and create an inclusive government? Well,
there have been calls for him to more like employ a diplomatic approach rather than and then use more political approach to resolving the differences. I don't know, I don't know what he's thinking. But again,
which do you think will work better for the people of Turkey?
I feel that more like a national reconciliation would work, because right now people are still there, people are still angry, like those who were thrown out of jobs and all that, schools that were shut, hospitals and companies that were closed down, people. So I feel like with time they should be more like try to say, okay, look, we know this has happened, let's try to put this behind us and join hands to be able to build the country, because it's even indirectly affecting the economy of the country.
Very, very quickly now, in just a few words, you've been to about 4 countries which are all facing terrible humanitarian situations at the moment: South Sudan, Somalia, Uganda and Kenya. Tell us the unifying factor you've noticed and how grave the situations are in these countries.
Well, to some extent, there are two major factors, from Nigeria, northeast Nigeria, to Somalia, to Uganda, to Kenya, it's a case of one is man-made and the other is natural. In terms of natural, it's because some of the areas have witnessed drought as a result of lack of rain, but again, man-made because of the continuing conflict in those countries. Boko Haram is here in the north, is preventing aid from getting to people who need them. Somalia is the same thing. Al-Shabaab continues. In Uganda, you have the opposition, members who are actually fighting the government, Salva Kiir's government, who are also preventing aid. So, in terms of even places where aid groups who have naturally gone there to distribute food aid, but rebels wouldn't allow them. So, until that situation is resolved, things might actually not improve. And it's something that is happening both in Nigeria and across all the other countries affected by famine and in general the humanitarian crisis.
You leave it here for now because of time. Fidelis Mbah, thank you very much for joining us on The World Now.